If everything turns out the way it's supposed to, someday my guest, Brandon Smith, will be out of a job. For nearly 20 years, he's committed himself to improving the health and functioning of the workplace, from coaching executives to be better leaders, to consulting organizations on how to create inspiring cultures and eliminate workplace dysfunction. He's parachuted into some of the most challenging situations, metaphorically, I hope, challenging situations, and he's helped them right their ship. He's also known as the workplace therapist. He's an executive coach, author, speaker, and podcaster. His newest book is entitled "The Hot Sauce Principle: How to Live and Lead in a World Where Everything is Urgent All the Time." Brand, it's so nice to get to know you, meet you here. We were introduced by our mutual friend Jennifer Conweiler, so kudos to Jennifer for hooking us up here. How you doing? How's everything going?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on the show. Really excited to spend some time with you today.
Hot sauce. I wonder how
Hot
hot sauce
sauce.
is selling. Not only your book, but hot sauce in general in the COVID-19 world. I would imagine there's a fair amount of hot sauce being consumed. I think I have some in the refrigerator. But let's just talk for a second about this idea of your subtitle is, when everything is urgent all the time. We've just been given like a whole faceful of urgent and of weird and of not normal. What is what are observations are you seeing? What are your clients coming to you with as it relates to the challenges that leadership in their teams and in their organizations have to face in this, COVID-19 and other challenges
Yeah,
world?
it's a really good question. When I originally was writing the book, it was in normal times, right? And so in normal times, it really was this sense of every leader I worked with, everyone I worked with, didn't even matter what their role was, felt like they were a firefighter.
Hmm.
Everything was urgent all the time, and time was everyone's most precious resource. And so that was kind of how we operated. Then we had this weird world we're in now with COVID-19. And in the beginning of it, we got this gift of time back because people weren't commuting. You were at home. And I had people tell me, oh my gosh, it's like a gift. I've got like 2 or 3 hours back in my schedule. And then everyone kind of figured that out all at once. And so now what I see my clients suffer from Zoom meetings that start at 7:30 or 8 in the morning and then carry all the way to 5:30 or 6 because they know you're not commuting
Yeah,
and they know where you
yeah,
are.
yeah.
And so what we're suffering from now is it isn't everything feeling urgent all the time, but it's almost like that movie Groundhog Day.
Hmm. Yep,
Every day is the same.
yep.
You go down, you sit in front of your computer, and I've got one client. He says, "Yeah, I've taken over my son's game room. I'm in the game room from 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. The only time the door opens is when my kids slide food in.
I know they slide it through, then they
They just
slam the
slide
door.
it in, and the
Yeah,
door closes.
right.
And so I think that's part of what we're suffering from now is the monotony of it, and
Hmm.
that's a hot sauce in itself.
Sure. There was a word I learned growing up. It came up in the weirdest place, but it was that French word. It's ennui. You know what I mean? And it's that whole kind of, boredom, or where am I, or what's going on, and I'm clueless. And there is that the days just go on, and at the end of a day, I have a standing desk, and I find myself standing at the desk doing something, like editing a video or doing something, and it's 7:30 and it's 8 o'clock, and I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And I'm fried. I'm just, so it's amazing. You lose track of time. I want to follow on that a little bit. What kind of advice are you offering to, team leaders or organizational leadership when it comes to stuff like that? What are, a couple of takeaways you can offer up to them where other than buy your book, read your book, which everyone should do. But what advice are you giving?
So I'll give you a few nuggets. So the biggest ask that I'm getting right now from all team leaders is how to keep my folks motivated. That's the motivation seems to be kind of that loss with that ennui, kind of that there's just no one's feeling motivated.
Hmm.
So variety is one. So my first recommendation is variety,
Hmm.
and variety means think of different ways to communicate.
Hmm.
So maybe even go old school phone calls.
Yeah.
I'm recommending those because the phone, you can walk around in your office, you can go outside, enjoy the sunshine. You don't have to be kind of fixated on a screen like this. So variety. And then also, this is going to sound really geeky, Dave, but you want to operationalize the relational stuff. And what I mean by that is the normal relational stuff that you would have when you work with folks in an office. Like, hi, I see you, and like, let's go grab some coffee. Let's grab lunch, or how are things going? You want to operationalize that. So you want to find time for that in the calendar, or put it in agendas, because it's not going to happen normally or organically.
Yep.
Even just picking up the phone and calling folks, or making it a point, say, every day I'm going to call another member of my team and just check in.
Yeah.
So just making it a habit to kind of keep those personal connections going.
Yeah. Indeed, there's a discipline side of that. There's a rigor side of that, but it will serve you well in the long run. My last question to you, Brandon, is a question I ask everybody, which is, what lessons have we learned going through this, or as we're in it? What lessons have we learned that we must not forget?
Ironically enough, we have learned the value of time. We've learned the value of time, and we've learned. And hopefully we don't forget how we want to spend our time. So what things can be done at home? That's one thing. Maybe I don't have to drive in battle traffic. There's some things I can do at home, which is better. How do I carve out time for my family and people that are important to me? But also, what are the things that I need to be doing in person with people that I miss? What are those things?
Right.
And so we hopefully won't take those things for granted. Even the small, subtle things like just going out for a drink or having coffee with somebody.
Sure.
We don't get to do that.
Because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, at the end of all that stuff, that's really, when you think about it, that's all you ever really had was time. So that's cool.
Yeah. How we want to use it. Absolutely.
Brandon, it was so great to meet you, get to know you. Best of luck with the book, and I hope to chat again with you real soon.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed the conversation.
You take care.
You too.